Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep. We find ourselves once again in the map editor, and this is, or what will be, our home island. Now, we have gone for a kind of Iron Age theme, so we have a bunch of structures on the island, including our ruined Iron Age house, which we will expand on. We'll add a few more of those at some point. We have our stone circle, we have a little pathway, we have a little rock bridge, and we have other curiosities as well, such as this little Nautilus style submarine wreck on the beach. Let's get the camera out of that. Or I suppose you could call it, it's more of a Nautilus and less of a Hunley, I guess, if you know your submarine history. Okay, so what I thought we could do, since last episode we came along here, we made ourselves a kind of mangrove swamp, which is very, very nice, a very lovely swamp, even though mangrove trees don't exactly exist in the game anymore. They used to, they don't. So we've done our best. We've added this water, we've added these trees, we've added these rocks. So it's very, very nice there. Now we've got this kind of back end of the island to do. We've got this large area here to do something with. We've got this little beach, which we do need to leave open. We might have to, and we can't just leave it as a big flat area. That's completely nonsensical. We have this beach here, which we need to sort of fix in a second pass. So we will need to do a second pass for all the features of the island in order to kind of link everything together and just kind of really dial in the details. So this has taken a lot longer than I'd anticipated, just going through the video footage. But once it's done, hopefully it's going to look real nice now. Because I don't really have an idea for what we can do with this section here, I'm thinking I've got some kind of misty idea forming in my mind, but I'll just let the subconscious work on that. And maybe as we sort of pull all the other details in, something will form here. What I was going to do is some sort of little burial mound thing, but nope, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that rock. And instead, focus on one of the large features of the island, which is this kind of stream thing. Well, I say kind of stream thing, it doesn't really exist at the moment. Now, here's a little secret. If you're wondering, if you're watching these as they come out, if you're wondering why there hasn't been a Stranded Deep video in a while, and I say a while, I'm trying to put 2 videos out a week at least for Stranded Deep. It's because I ran into a bit of a showstopper bug doing exactly this. So, we will hit raise and lower, we'll hit lower, and we'll make sure the amount's quite small. And what we're going to do is punch in a little stream here. Now, if I still have the footage, I'll show you exactly what happened. Basically, I was doing the last recording and ran into a showstopper bug. So I was placing rocks around this area and went back to the terrain tool, hit lower. And I think what I might have done is clicked on an object at the same time as clicking the terrain, and it just punched a hole through to the center of the world. At that point, trying to recover, trying to fill that hole in, just made the hole deeper and deeper. So if I still got that footage, I'll kind of splice it in there. It's kind of a nasty bug. If you get a bug that's kind of eating your island, don't save. I don't think I need to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Don't save if a bug has started eating your creation. Just exit, and then you can come back in because the game won't automatically save for you, which is kind of a blessing and a curse. If you are creating an island of your own and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm thinking I will just select the thing and make some changes and stuff, and then, I've exited the game and I haven't saved. Well, you can lose a lot of work. But if something goes wrong and there's no autosave to kind of to back up, then yeah, you might have also saved yourself a lot of problem with the because it is early access. You do expect these kind of bugs and stuff, and bugs are rated in severity usually, and a showstopper bug, or what can be called a showstopper bug, is something that is serious enough to stop deployment, usually, of software or a device. So we're just kind of pushing the land back. I'm doing this real quick. So we're not messing around here, people. We are just making sure we are getting this kind of feature in. I kind of want to punch out this way. Just going to make it fairly deep. I want that color. Basically, what I'm looking for is the color of the water. The color of the water is real important because what we have here is a lot of features from, I guess, Neolithic or Stone Age or even Iron Age settlement. There's some stuff kind of kicking around, and you can say, well, this place could have been bigger in the olden days. Some of the stuff has been lost to sort of coastal erosion or whatever. But the main problem is when you have houses and stuff, and you can say, yeah, they could have fished, they could have got food from sort of small plots, not exactly farms, but small holdings. A small farm is usually called a small holding. It's not really a farm, or just a plot, or even a parcel of land. Yeah, one of the big problems is fresh water. And as you know, if you play Stranded Deep, then you can get water from palm trees, you can get from coconuts, you can get water from solar stills and stuff, but people might not have had all that technology. We don't really know too much about that period of time. We've got a lot of archaeological evidence. We can make educated guesses over a lot of things, but some things still are a mystery to us. Take Stonehenge, for example. How did they get a bunch of standing stones shaped like that? Why did they do it? What was the purpose? We can make a best guess, but we can't really go back in time and ask people. For a start, DeLoreans are really, really expensive, and to get a Mr. Fusion device fitted to it, it's just, the tax alone is just incredible. Yeah, it's a real nightmare situation if you're just doing that. So what we're doing is we're just kind of randomly punching in this kind of waterway here. It's a lot deeper than we need it to be because we're going to smooth it. And we know from experience that when we smooth something, we lose a lot of verticality. It's a cost that we are willing to pay. And there's a reason for punching in this kind of deep water here and getting that lovely blue color. The reason is that at different times of the day, we're going to have different light. So if we kind of sit on this bridge, hit the cog, select the time of day, woof, there we go. That water is now black. It is very, very dark. It is kind of unappealing. If we go and sit our face underneath it, that is unsettling for quite a few people. People like me who don't like deep water and don't like to be around water during the night. Now, if we do the same thing, we stick our face underwater, not a problem. Looks kind of appealing, actually. Looks nice. Looks warm and friendly and inviting almost. So there are different dynamics at different times of day, and when you're creating a map, you should kind of take those into account. You should also take the human element into account, because as players move around a place, they are going to want to do things. They're going to want to climb up on anything that you have that is climbable. They are going to want to explore. They're going to want to do things probably outside whatever you've designed. In reality, they're not going to want to conform to anything that you have made for them. Players, like users on a computer network, they will kind of do their own thing in reality. So what we're doing here is we are creating a point at which this water is springing forth. A spring, as it were. Not. We could make a well, but a freshwater spring. So this water is going to come out here. It's going to go down to the beach and just kind of empty a little river. We've got some kind of random shape to it. It's gone that way. What we'll do is we'll put some rock or something here to make it look like it's chosen to take the path of least resistance, which is simply cutting through the land. Not a problem. We do need this area to be deeper than the rest of it, because it needs to look like there is sort of a water pressure coming up there. So I'm going to crank the mount up and really just get that sketched in. We will lower the terrain a little bit around here as well, and then we'll soften it up. So let's just punch that down. This can be quite deep. because we're going to put some rock around here, so the player can't actually go in there. When I say player, I mean this island effectively is just going to be me, just cruising around the island. So we're going to hit that, and then we're going to make the brush a little bit bigger. Let's do that. Change the amount down. We don't need it too aggressive. And then just kind of take this little nubbin off. Now we're going to decorate this with rocks. We're going to decorate with this with plants, because where you have water, you have life. The three things creatures need are fuel, light, and fluids. Usually carbon-based life forms. They also need proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids if you're a human. I'm just trying to think what doesn't require. I guess silicon-based life forms will require other things like ZX Spectrums, BBC Micros, and a can of WD-40. There you go. That's the three things required for silicon-based life form. We're just kind of punching this out. Brilliant. Yeah, this is going... I tell you what, it goes a lot quicker once you've had to trash a recording and go back to it and just kind of go, oh, you know what? This is going to be a lot quicker if I do it like this, no? So we've got this going on, and it looks like ass. It's like, oh, what are you doing? You're turning your island into a great big pile of ass. I do not approve. I'm going to unsubscribe. No, first of all, I will subscribe, and then I will unsubscribe to register my disappointment. All right. Well, you do you. That's the thing. So, we're just going to hit up the smoothing tool. The amount is quite minuscule. We normally crank it up and rip the knob off, but there are going to be secondary effects to this. Not only are we going to be smoothing the path of the water, but we're also going to be pulling the height down on either side. Now, the height of the banks isn't going to be too much. We don't want it so steep that if we fall in as a player, then we can't get out. We don't want it looking unnatural as well. We don't want it looking a little bit uncanny valley. And I know uncanny valley applies to people, but if you see something and it's supposed to be a natural phenomena, if it's something created in nature, and you look at it and you say, it doesn't look natural. It looks placed. It looks too, I don't know, like when you get a river punched through the center of a city. It doesn't look organic. It just looks like it's been placed, and I don't know. Whereas if you get a river in real life, I say real life, in a sort of a natural environment, it tends to, you get shallow bits, you get deep bits, you get bits like the Strand. Ugh, we're a river. Oh my God. Yeah, so there's a river in the UK, and there's a bit of it called the Strand. Look it up on Wikipedia, folks. It's terrifying. It's essentially what happens when a river turns on its side, and everyone who falls into it looks like a little stream out in the middle of nowhere. Everyone who falls into it vanishes. There is no way of coming back from that. It's just like, where did they go? Good question. I think they tried to sort of sound it out, try and find out what is down there, and essentially we have no idea. Nature can be terrifying. Take sharks, for example. Who thought it'd be a really good idea to put a lot of teeth wrapped in a ball of anger? It's just like, no, don't do that. I mean, what about kittens? Take a kitten. Kittens have teeth, and they're delightful most of the time. So, yeah, we're just sort of smoothing this off. So this is going to be another one of those things where we dig in and sort of smooth off, and dig in and smooth off. This side is, we don't want to take too much height off this because of these standing stones. We can sort of push in this way. We're going to kind of narrow the land that way. Not a problem. One side can be fairly shallow, the other side can be fairly steep. That again doesn't really matter. I do want it to be this kind of richer blue, which is nice. So we've got this kind of little very yeah, it's not a good looking hole there. So we're going to change the side down, amount down, just kind of going to put the old brush on the surface, because as soon as it's underwater, we can't actually see what's going on. So size has to be down. Lower amount is fairly low anyway, so let's just push this in. We're kind of working from the top here, so let's push that in and kind of carve that around. I do want to take some height off of this as well, so we're going to get down to there. The size can go up, the amount can go up a lot actually. Just punch that back a bit more. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That can actually stay raised up. That's not a problem. This side's all right. What about here? I don't mind that so much. Let's do this. Push that back. That's better. Bit too aggressive maybe, but we can soften that out by having that up like that. And just kind of soften that back out. Oh yeah, good. Good. This is nice. I think this is going to work. All right, it makes more sense having that little rock bridge there. We're going to have to revisit that as well, because it's a bit too... I mean, it's fine, but at the same time, it's not the best it could be. You know, it's not the very best. Yeah, it's certainly not great. So we've got this little sort of curve here. So the water comes out, meets some resistance, and then it kind of meanders through and out onto the... Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just going to soften this up a bit. Here, and kind of over here. There we go. It's okay. What about here? If we punch this back, it's kind of trying to get the camera so we can actually see what's going on. There we go. There we go. So basically, we take the time now, so that when we're in the game, we don't look at things and say, "Oh, well, I wish I'd have brushed that back," or "I wish that was a bit smoother," or, you know, "I wish I'd done something else along here." So there we go. Yeah, this entire area we need to do something with it. We kind of, there's other things we're going to need to do with the island as well. One of the main problems I'm having is the fact that it's so open. I'm trying to think about what we can do about that, because it's so open, you can stand here and go, oh yeah, well, the island looks this size, but if we occlude vision across the island, even at just kind of head height, then it kind of it'll suddenly make the island look a lot bigger than it actually is. And the nice thing about this size island, if we go up and away, the nice thing about this is we can densely forest it, because we haven't gone all the way to the edges of the world. It's still a very big island to kind of sit on, because we haven't gone to the very edge of what we can use. We can throw a ton of stuff on it, like trees and various bits and pieces, without worrying too much about frame rate. Now, probably laptops and stuff might have a problem, but a desktop should easily eat this up. Not even giving it a second thought. We've done that. We need to bring that back. Come back. Oh, come back. So we will do this, and this. There we go. That's actually a really handy little trick there. So let's crank the mount up, smooth this. Just crank it all the way up. We're not playing with half measures anymore. But that's going to fill that in. It's a problem. It's a problem. Okay, so we'll push that down. I suppose the bigger brushes give you a sort of smoother, like a smoother feel to everything. Not bad. We're kind of going around this whole bank. I want this area to be deeper. That's why I keep going over it. And then when we smooth it, it sort of comes back, and it's a bit of a problem. It's kind of a specific look, I guess, that I want. But it's worth playing. It's worth spending the time and getting exactly what you want, rather than just trying to rush in, throw yourself at this for an hour. I would definitely recommend sort of coming back time after time and just kind of pacing yourself, because there's a lot of stuff your mind is going to kind of work on. So you go to work, you go to school, and you'll be like, oh, you know what I could really do with is doing that thing, you know, that really cool thing. And then it's like, yeah, no, I know exactly what that is. And you come back and you do the really cool thing instead of having to make a new island every time. So got the smoothing brush out. There we go. And we lose that altitude again. Ugh. Come on. Come on. Let's just we crank that up, crank that down. We're going to get that. Because I think it's, well, I don't think it's definitely tied to the size of the brush, depending on how much of the land it pulls around. So this is nice and deep now. I don't think it's going to be deep enough to actually get things like seaweed and stuff growing in it. Maybe it's deep enough to get stuff like fish and the like inhabiting it. That'd be an interesting little thing to keep an eye out for. We're kind of leaving this area very hilly, actually, because of this standing little stone circle thing. I think that's probably okay, what we've got there. I'm just going to smooth everything off as best we can, just to make sure it is as smooth as it can possibly be. Nice. And then we're going to start decorating it. Right, okay, so that's kind of, yeah, all right, that's kind of cool. We'll need to do stuff further down, but we've got this kind of inland area here. It's kind of a half lake, half river. The idea is we're going to have some fresh water. So we're going to have to go back to rocks, and rocks are really good because they are not a physics object, which is cool. We're going to need to find something about the right size. I think this was a problem last time, before the whole map decided to do one straight off a cliff, and that is we need to make a little rock structure as the sort of mouth of the spring. So as water springs forth, there is an area that the player can't quite get to, but can see that there is. So we got lower. I'm really hoping it doesn't just punch straight down again. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Go back to objects. Get this up. Because I don't know what the problem was last time, and whether this is going to cause a problem again. So we hit terrain, we'll hit smooth, we'll bring that out. There we go. It's not down far enough. I think we did this and then suddenly it just vanished into the abyss. That was an issue. So let's do this. All right. Okay, fine. That's kind of deep enough. Back to objects, back to rocks. So we got these huge big rocks, and they are too big. I think these are much too big for what we want. We could actually, you know what? We could actually make something out of all these big old rocks. I think it's possible to do something serendipitous. Without turning it into a Sisyphean task. Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So having these rocks actually might help us. Essentially, it's a miniature cave. We're going to have to get rid of this dude, which, well, there wasn't much help, to be honest. So we'll get rid of that. Yes, I don't want that. I don't want that either. That can do one, and that can go as well. And... All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. We can put another one on the island somewhere. I think we have one in the stores anyway. So we need another rock. Rock. Right. You can come here. We will press T, slam you into the ground, pull you over, and then push you in a little bit. Okay. All right. We're going to need to decorate this with plants. That's the thing. Can we actually see through there? Not really. Right, okay. So we'll get some plants and stuff on the go. We need small rocks now. Small rock. Why did I collapse that menu? That is a question for scholars and people of the ages. That is not the right thing. There we go. We can put rocks and stuff in like that. So there's that. Another one over there. That'll do. Kind of rotate this. So essentially it says, oh, look, the water carries on in there. I mean, if you go and poke your face in there, you'll just see it just kind of ends. Right, so that's fine. That's kind of also fine. We can just leave that there. We'll continue with the broken rock motif around the outside. So we'll just kind of throw in some rocks. Maybe, I tell you what, maybe you're going to get rid of that one. Put a larger one in on the corner to say, hey, actually there's a bit of structure underneath there. So something like that. And maybe, okay, maybe this. Which is why the water is not just running straight out that way to the sea. Ah, okay. Yeah, so it's there has to be a reason for things in nature. So we have created now a reason for things in nature. This area here we can use as kind of a basin, I think. So that's kind of cool. I think what we'll do is use the small rocks. So we're going at small rock 3. Let's put that there. Small rock 2, you come over here. Pop you in there. Okay, hit R, move that over there, press T, just kind of jam that into the ground. Doesn't need to be too precise because, well, whenever have we been that precise? We can put some small rocks in. Shoreline rock. So shoreline rock 2 is what I was using before. Put that in there. Right, okay. Yeah, this was shoreline rock 2 was what I was using when I actually punched a hole to the Cthulhu's bedroom, and it didn't go well, as you can probably imagine. It was just like, oh, what are you doing in my bedroom? I do not want you here. It is not the time for me to wake up yet. I thought you was going crazy, no? And yeah, it turns out that Cthulhu really doesn't like being woken up in the middle of a 1,000-year slumber. So, top tip, travel guide almost. So we're just going to put a rock here. It should be on the beach. Doesn't need to be anywhere in particular. Boop, just put it so it's kind of poking out. So the idea of having the rocks is like, hey, there might be somebody under the ground, and that's why the rocks that's why the water's doing what it does. We're gonna need to do something with this. We'll do something with that. Plants that do things that are plants. So aha! I was just thinking we don't have a quarry. Maybe I'll let my mind think about that. But yeah, a quarry would be a good thing. Trees. So we go back to trees, and we're just gonna find some structural stuff to kind of throw in here in order to kind of decorate this up. So we'll do this. Make sure the leaves aren't really clipping into anything. Well, in a noticeable way anyway. So we can have the leaves over the top of something. That's fine. I just don't like the idea of them clipping into stuff. So that's kind of cool. There's going to be lots of bush. Don't like you. You can go away. Yeah, there's going to be should be lots of plants around the water. So, ficus? Would there be a ficus down here? I mean, maybe. I don't see why there shouldn't be a ficus here. But a couple in just get that old. Is that a western feel? I don't know. Like when you think about rivers in America, in the United States, you kind of think about creeks and stuff, and like cowboys and those weird sort of dusty old rivers that can't just see the end of that. And then you get little like scrubby plants and stuff growing around them, little trees and things. I think no, that's too much. Don't like it. Too heavy. You can go. I'll tell you what we could use. Okay, I'll tell you what we could use. And you're like, oh, going straight down to the old ficus. Actually, no, that'd probably be a really good thing. I was looking for the nana plant. Nana plant. That's not gonna kind of, I just wanted to kind of make it a little bit less. That doesn't work there. I might have to move that rock. So I'll tell you what, we'll move this rock out of the way. You can come down here. We'll throw the nana plant in there. We'll hit rotate. and then just kind of find a way to tessellate to get it sort of ready in. It can rotate over a bit. That's not a problem. Reason for putting another structural plant in there. It's too big. It's too big. And this kind of scale boxes doesn't exist. So just finding something we can jam in there just to kind of hide. In fact, these two might... I'll tell you what. You come over here. You come with me. There we go. I don't want it to totally be in the water. Something. I guess we can kind of fudge it a bit. Have some of the leaves clipped in a way that it's not too noticeable. It's going to be too noticeable? I think that's fine. We can get this one and do this, which is much bigger. It's like, well, why are you hiding everything you've strove to create? And it's like, well, not really, but this is the kind of natural world taking over and just kind of doing its thing. So that's definitely jammed in the ground. These aren't really... that's not a problem. Okay, so that actually looks kind of cool there. So you know what? I'll clone that. I'll just leave it where it is. Press T, move that in, and then do a little rotate on it. In fact, rotate this the other way as well. T. The idea is this will just be a blocker essentially, so you can't physically get in there. Good. This can even come out a little bit. Again, good. Right. Okay. Ooh. All right. And we'll do the same up here as well. We'll throw something up here that can be used to kind of finish this top area here. Let's do this. You. Right, okay, we'll do that. We'll rotate this out, rotate it around a little bit, just so it's not just its default orientation. I think we might need to bring it out. Press T. There's a definite thing about not having leaves clipped into rocks. It might be me, but I like not having stuff, see down here, that's okay, that's fine. The other thing is making sure the base is actually in the ground and not in a rock. It doesn't matter if you're like making a mountain or something, that's not too much of a problem. But the old, let's throw a nana in there as well. In fact, if I delete that by clicking there, I can get a nana and put it here. Hey! Actually, it was fine the way it was. All right, cool. So, yeah, we're gonna be walking along and be like, oh, there's a thing. That's where the water comes out, and there's a little beachy bit there, and we'll throw some other plants around here as well. You look like you'd be growing on a beach. Why not? I think you're fine the way you were actually. Some shrubby bushes, scrubby bushes. For the sake of putting a little scrubby bush. There we go. You there. You can go there. Change the orientation and let's bring that bit. Yeah. So cool. 2 bushes together that close? Nah. No. But you can go over here. I don't see a problem with that. I think the hitboxes of these weird bushy things are really huge. So if I grab another one. Have they fixed it? Are they? Beam team. No, really? Let's click off and then back on. God damn it, Beam Team, you fixed it. They used to have a huge, like, spherical hitbox thing. You drag something in, and then about here, it would just sort of clip to a circle. Ah, man, those guys. I know they gotta be working real hard, just for little things like that. It's like, well, we've got the game to make, but only in Australian. Oh, core blimey, Castlemaine 4X, and yeah. Except Australians don't drink Castlemaine 4X because that's, I think, is it export only? Don't know. So this side we can throw in a tree. Let's do that. Let's have the branches over the water. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's bring that up. And I'm going to throw this in knowing that is that all the way in? It's not all the way in, and that will bug me. So we'll just drag that. So it's just clipped into the water. Okay, fine. So we're going to do that knowing that we're going to have to deal with this huge mountain of stuff anyway. Right. In fact, if we rotate that round, that's better. That feels better. That just feels better that way. Why don't we just brush that back a little bit? Let's do that. Hit the terrain, hit this, hit that, hit this, and then just kind of, see what? Let's crank the size up and really just crank the amount up. And I say that as we're not actually having much of an effect on the terrain itself at all. That's kind of a weird one. All right. So let's push this back, push this back, push this back. And we'll have to really think about what we're going to put here. Maybe I'll need to get myself caught in a Wikipedia hole. That's a cool thing. It's like, better look up the Iron Age settlements and see what they did for like coastal regions, maybe fishing, no? This is exactly how I talk when I'm on Wikipedia. So we'll just punch this back a little bit, and the amount could go all the way up. It doesn't matter. That's better. That's better. We're just carving this away like it's a bit of cheese. Nice bit of smoked apple wood there. And we're going to hit the amount. So the amount's fairly high up. Yeah, the amount is real high up. Knock it down a bit. So just going to smooth this area off behind this tree. Don't want to expose too much of the roots. Cool. In fact, this is a nice sandy area. Could be, I think we could use that for something. Right, okay. Around this tree, there should be probably soil, so we're under the sand, which means we're going to stick in some other things, other bits and pieces. What else do we have here? We got that, which kind of is in the middle of nowhere doing its own thing. That doesn't feel right either. That feels like it should be a bit more vertical. Good. And then pop that down. Oh, yeah. So cool. We've got this scrubby little stream, which was kind of ended at this bridge, has now turned into, we've got this spring, this kind of spring that comes out there, which the player can't get into. It's capped off at the top. It's kind of, I mean, we're working with what we've got here, lads and ladies, which is that, you know, we're kind of limited in some way to the objects that are available to us in game. However, I think half the challenge is definitely, and I might have said this before, half the challenge is definitely using what we have and kind of making it look as realistic as possible, or at least, I guess, as playable as possible. Potato plants. Do we need a potato plant? Oh, look at that! I thought it was like from what I remembered, it was that scrubby little thing that was on the ground. Now it's like a little plant thing. Oh, that is wonderful. I like that. Maybe it's always been that way. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's always been that way. Who knows? Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. Let's use more of that. It's yeah, the potato is a food source in game. I don't know if it's been patched since it first came out. It was a bit of a problem. Oh, that makes a wonderful little, yeah, sort of bankside, sort of waterside plant. Oh, that is brilliant. I love that. Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying that. We could break our own rules and throw a little palm tree in here. I don't know. I still like the idea of keeping the palm trees the outside of the island. But I mean, there is a possibility of a palm or two next to the water. So that's, yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing we could do. Probably not that side though. It looks too steep. Maybe the other side. So we hit this, bring this across. Ah. Huh. Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay. That's fine. And if you have one, you'll probably find another one sort of nearby, maybe. Not too high up. I don't want it on the grass. I don't want these things touching the grass. For a very simple reason is that they'd be unlikely to get a coconut up that high, based on no factual knowledge whatsoever. No, based on the fact that coconut is a large, heavy object that floats usually from one point to another. So, but if there's one coconut, one palm tree dropping coconuts, there's probably another one nearby. Yeah, okay, that feels okay. Kind of feels. Is that too odd? Bring it back a little bit. Bring it back. Bring it this way a little bit. I'm going to put them either side of the river because it looked a little bit like the Sphinx's never-ending story. Just either side of this gateway, two huge statues either side of a gateway. Kind of make it feel a bit too odd. You know what? Rather than carry on picking away at this, I might throw another little shrubby bush in. Where are you, bush? Under B. Under bush. Cool. Just over here. Just make this feel a little bit less like it's kind of on its own. Another rock or something over there. I keep backing the camera up into a cliff. We should probably do something about that. Now grab you, press T, bring you over. I like these little things, these little projects, these little sort of, I don't know, you can, little things that are ultimately not pointless, but you can spend a lot of time with the little decorative pieces. That's kind of, that's nice. So if we come over to the little bridge, we stand here and we'll look at that way. It's go, oh yeah, there's a water there. There's probably going to be fish and stuff that spawn in there. It is deep enough. That's nice. We've got this kind of thing here. Unfortunately, there's no particle generators. So one of the things we won't be able to get is a particle generator. So we can't make a little waterfall. So a particle generator in a video game, you would have seen it. You'd have seen it quite a few times. Anytime where there's a spark or a waterfall or a fire where there's smoke coming up or sparks or flames, that's a particle generator. It just tells the game to render smoke at that point. So at that point, smoke will come up, and you add a bunch of effects together. So you add the fire effect, then you add the smoke effect together, and then you have a fire, or you have a waterfall. So you have a particle generator that says, "Hey, generate this length of water curtain." And it'll go for, it won't stop when it hits the ground. Then you when it hits the water, the point it hits the water, you put render white smoke particles, but they dissipate after a shorter period of time than the black smoke particles to create the look of sort of rising mist. So yeah, particle generators could give us little cool things to play around with. But you know what? I think we've done quite a lot. We've done, we've got our fresh water supply, which gives the good people of this island, or anyone who would have lived on this island, enough water. They would have had food from the sea. They've had food from the plants. I think there's, so we've got this area to look at next time, in these beaches to kind of tidy up, the linking areas to kind of tidy up, the settlement to really build in. And we need to sort of sort this submarine wreck out. But you know what? I'm going to leave it there. So if you're liking this series, definitely chuck a subscribe, a like, tell your friends about the channel. And if you can, if you know anywhere that you can link the video or share the video or whatever, that might help us out as well. Comments, obviously stick them below. I will try and answer people's questions or whatever, because that's just what we do. And you know what? I will catch you guys next time.